a fiction writer who does not know the end of the book before they start is just lying.
Yeah, like
Like
J.J.
Lost.
Abrams in Lost.
Like Lost, like Lost.
Hi, I'm Dan Brown, author of L'Ultimo Segreto, and I'm here on Supernova to talk to three smart guys about human consciousness. Should be fun.
This is also a tough one because I'm scared of giving away too much spoiler.
Sure. Thank you.
of the
Thank you
book.
for being, some people don't care, so thank you for caring. Thank you for caring. That's right.
No, you're welcome. But it's a way of saying, like, you go. Tell us what can I ask about this book? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where to start without
we can talk
giving
about-
away any spoilers. I think we can start from the title. In Italy, it's L'Ultimo Segreto. Do you
Yeah.
like it as a title?
Uh,
It's not literally.
There's no. I mean, in English, the book I wrote is called The Secret of Secrets.
Yep.
And in Italian, they've changed it to L'Ultimo Segreto.
Yeah, The Last Secret.
The Last Secret. But I think people keep saying it's The Last Secret. I thought it was more like the ultimate secret or the greatest secret. But maybe it's The Last Secret. Yeah, it works. And I have a great Italian publisher, so, I'm sure they got it right.
Yeah. Are you touring all around Europe right now? Is the European leg of
Yes,
your
yeah.
tour? Yeah.
It's
How is
been
it? Is it fun?
It's a blast. Yeah. What's strange for an author is that we spend, in this case, 8 years all alone in the dark in our pajamas typing. And then all of a sudden, they're bright lights and smart people going like, tell me something interesting. I'm like, it's sort of, it's a different hat that you have to wear.
Yeah. What's the contrast between being alone in a room and then discover the world outside and everybody read your book and you have to talk about it?
Well, it sounds crazy, but I mean, most writers, myself included, really write for ourselves. I'm trying to write the book that I would want to read. And I've learned that I can't write for an audience. I have to write a book that I'm happy with and then hope people share my taste. And of course, I've learned that some people share my taste. But it still is always an astonishing moment when you come out of the darkness and you say, wait, people are reading all these things that I thought of and typed, and there are books everywhere, and people are coming up saying, I loved what you wrote. It never gets old. I'd love to pretend that...
You're not used to it.
You know what? I should be used to it, but I'm not. It's always a pleasure. And every single day I meet somebody who's had a new experience with the novel and is thinking about it in different ways. And I'm always grateful. I'm always kind of surprised.
Yeah. I bet you are. But it's interesting what you say that you don't write for yourself, because reading the book, you can feel that you want to lead the readers through the book, because it might be complicated to understand all the topics and stuff like that, but you said it, you repeat that, and you help the reader to understand what you're...
My job above all is to entertain. And I mean, yes, this is a book about human consciousness, which is a difficult topic. There's a lot of science, but this book is written to be enjoyed by anyone. You don't need to be a neuroscience to understand this book. And that is really the hard part of what I do, to take complicated topics and distill them down into metaphors and analogies and examples such that anybody can read it, and you don't even realize how much you're learning because you're worried about Langdon and he's running, and you want to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah. How much research is behind a book like this?
This book, more research than any book I've ever written, and there's always a lot of research. This book, I started by reading everything I could read about human consciousness, and then using what I learned in the books to seek out professionals, physicists, noetic scientists, people who'd had near-death experiences, and to talk to them. That's really where the bulk of the research happens.
Okay.
Maybe we just have to make a little context of the book.
Because I wasn't sure if I can mention human consciousness. Is it a spoiler, or we can?
No, not at all. I mean,
Okay. Because that's really fascinating as a topic. How did you came up with this idea? How did you find out about this theory?
I love big ideas.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence, the bloodline of Jesus, overpopulation. That's the stuff I
Always,
like.
always.
I like all those
Always
stuff.
huge
things. And there's nothing bigger than human consciousness as a topic. It is the lens through which we experience reality. We experience ourselves. We are the product of the chemical processes in our brains, with our brains creating our consciousness. That is how it has always been seen. But there's problems. There are anomalies that come up with that model. One anomaly is sudden savant syndrome, where somebody gets hit in the head with a baseball and they wake up speaking a foreign language perfectly. Or they wake up a virtuoso violinist having never seen a violin. These are things that are impossible. And we've all heard of people lying on an operating table, they die. 15 minutes later, they're resuscitated, they're brought back to life, and they say, no, I saw the whole thing. I was hovering above my body, looking down, and the doctors say, that's impossible. Your eyes were taped shut. You imagined it. He said, well, look, I tell you, a guy with a green shirt came in with this machine, and this is what he said, and the doctors say, you're absolutely right. How can that be? So that's what we call anomalies to this model. They conflict with this model. And I should say that scientific models have always changed throughout history based on anomalies. Too many anomalies appear and we develop a new model. There was a time in our history when the Earth was the center of the solar system. That's what we believed. It was the truth. But there were anomalies. A star was out of place. A planet was out of place. Copernicus comes along and says, the model's wrong. Let's put the sun at the middle. And then suddenly everything worked. And I believe, as do a lot of scientists, that we are at that moment in history with human consciousness, that there are so many anomalies that this notion of the mind creating consciousness is incorrect, and that something else is happening. And the new theory that's starting to spring up is something called non-local consciousness, in which consciousness is outside the body and is actually received by the brain, that the brain functions more as a receiver. And what happens in this model is that all of these anomalies start to disappear. Sudden savant syndrome you can understand as you're if this is a receiver, we've all been in a car driving along listening to our favorite song, we hit a bump in the road and the receiver skips and now it's picking up a station in Chinese or whatever, and like, oh, so if this is a receiver and it gets damaged, it can actually acquire new information from the great beyond. It's a hard thing to imagine is true, but it makes logical sense. And that's really what's happening now, is that this new model of consciousness outside the body is gaining momentum. And the most exciting part about that is it has real implications for death. In the model where the brain creates consciousness, when you die and your brain dies, consciousness is over. In the model where your brain is a receiver, the receiver dies, but the signal is still.
Yeah.
You can break a radio; it doesn't mean the radio station's gone.
Yeah.
And so you say, well, is this signal self-aware somehow? Can it be picked up by something else? And these are the kinds of things that fascinate me. And even more so because when I started writing this book, my mother passed away after a long illness. And you start saying, well, what happens when you die? And if you'd asked me 8 years ago when I started this book, I would say nothing happens when you die.
Yeah.
Total blackness, it's over. And now, 8 years later, talking to all these people, looking at the science, I have a much different opinion of human consciousness.
Yeah, I was going to ask what you believe. You said you change your belief. Is it something that happens when you have like a trauma and it makes you to change your perspective about things?
It certainly happens to people. I have been very, very careful. And let me just backtrack. I've changed my mind not because of a religious experience, a spiritual experience, a trauma. My mom didn't speak to me. My change of opinion is based strictly on the science of the situation. And that's important to know because we all hope for life after death. It makes things much simpler. There has never been a religion that has survived that does not promise life after death. I could come to you guys and say, hey, I've got this great religion. Let me tell you all about it. I tell you like, that's amazing. We want to be part of your religion. But I say, one thing, no life after death. No, thanks. We're done. So we all want that. And so as you're writing about it, you've got to be so careful that your desire to find life after death does not color the way you read the data. And so I had to work hard at that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we read the book. We never heard about collective consciousness. Yeah. After we read the book,
I believe in it.
Yeah, we said, okay, that's it. That's
Totally
it.
believe in it.
Totally convinced.
No,
That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Yeah, because I think it's like how
explain-
some animals
Yeah.
work. I mean, I think for ants is the same thing. They've
Birds.
got
Birds.
Yes.
Birds.
When you
bees,
see-
I think
Bees.
bees. Yeah, they've got this thing, right?
There's a great, I mean, I agree with you guys entirely that there is a collective consciousness, that we are connected in ways that we don't understand. All you have to do is look at swallows, these giant flocks of birds that all move at the same instant, or these long schools of fish that all turn left and right in unison, that they are individuals, but they are connected. And that is the way it's starting to appear at the subatomic realm also. And I talked to a very religious person who, I should say a spiritual person, not of any particular religion. They said, they came up with this beautiful metaphor for life and death. They said, life is kind of like you're a raindrop falling down toward the ocean, and you're an individual raindrop. You're surrounded by other raindrops, but you're an individual. And you sense your individuality as you're falling. And then in the moment of death, you hit the ocean. And for a split second, you're still a raindrop, and then suddenly you're just part of something
bigger.
so big that you can't even comprehend it, but you're part of it.
Yeah.
So your goal is also to bring this theory to a large mass of people. How they receive this?
Well, I mean, the book has been received very, very well. Simultaneously, there have been a few scientists who are materialists, like Gessner, who don't like the idea. But that's to be expected, and that's why I had a character who plays the other side and says, listen, all of these ideas of collective consciousness, they're all nice, and I understand these anomalies, and we don't have an answer for them, but I've spent my whole life saying that the mind creates consciousness. It's very upsetting when somebody tells me something else. All of my work for my entire career is now at jeopardy. So there's always going to be this give and take. And anytime you present an idea that is outside the normal thinking, you're going to get people who are upset. I wrote a little book called The Da Vinci Code and learned that lesson the hard way. So I didn't actually expect the Da Vinci Code to be quite as controversial as it was. And this book, I don't know if it will be controversial, but certainly it has started a dialogue about the topic.
Yeah, it's
and
shining a light on that topic. Yeah,
it has.
Yeah. And let's go back to the 8 years you said to write this book.
Yeah.
The way it ends was in your head since the beginning, or it's something in the making? In the making, and it changes through the.
Yeah. Anytime you write a thriller, you have to know the ending, and I'm so maniacal about structure and form that I write the ending first.
Huh.
I need to know where this is headed, and there's this great saying that a fiction writer who does not know the end of the book before they start is just lying.
Yeah, like J.J. Abrams in Lost.
Like Lost.
Well, you know what's really funny? Carlton Cuse, who's the showrunner of Lost, with J.J. Abrams,
yes.
he's the one doing the Lost symbol for Netflix. And we've had all of these laughs. I'm saying, listen, did you guys have any idea what you were doing?
You can do like Lost.
You can tell me. He's like, no, we knew what we were doing. You had no idea. So we always have a laugh about that. But fortunately, he's a fantastic producer. He's done Jack Ryan and a bunch of other things. And he also went to Harvard, and Langdon teaches at Harvard, so they have that connection. And I've seen the script. It's really good. The show's going to be great.
Okay.
How many episodes?
8 episodes.
8 episodes.
So listen, when we made these other movies, I mean, working with Ron Howard and Tom Hanks was so much fun. The great guys, a real honor to work with them. At the same time, we were making movies that were 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Taking a huge book and trying to compress it. Yep. And I remember seeing the first cut of the movie, which was 3.5 hours long, and thinking, where's my novel? This is 1% of my book. And Ron Howard said, oh, you wait. Yeah. you wait till we're done editing this. It's going to be nothing familiar to you.
And how does it feel to watch a movie about your book in this particular way?
It's a strange experience for an author because we know very well what's gone. And you have to come to terms with the fact that this is a different telling of your book. It's not your book translated to the screen. It's a different way of telling the story. And I'm not the kind of guy who tells Ron Howard how to make a movie or Tom Hanks how to act. Yeah. I'm a writer. And so you just trust that the people you're working with are professionals, and these guys clearly are. and everybody worked really hard to make the best movies they could. So,
Yeah.
they do say that for writers, the very best thing that you can hope for if you dance with the devil, meaning if you do business with Hollywood, is that someday they make a movie that you barely recognize. So,
Yeah. But when you write about Robert Langdon, do you see Tom Hanks? Do you see yourself? Because we, of course,
Yeah.
we see Tom Hanks the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, for
But
us,
I think that
it's Tom
you
Hanks.
are Robert Langdon.
oh, I wish.
Do you, do you
Yeah,
overlap in something?
We overlap in that writers tend to live vicariously through their characters, and we have a shared passion in history and symbols and codes and all of that. But that's really where it stops. His life is much more interesting than mine. He's infinitely smarter than I am. And, people say, well, how can he be smarter? Because everything he says, you have to write.
Yeah.
Okay.
You thought it.
So he's nodding, but just a second. When Langdon walks by a painting and offers a perfect, flawless, off the top of his head analysis as he walks by, that took me 3 days
Yeah,
to research and write.
Process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the great thing about writing is you can go back and change it. We've all had that experience of being in an argument and you walk away. You say, "Oh, you know what I should have said." No problem. You just go back and you change it. Now he says the right thing.
But is that something that you like anyway? I mean, arts, swimming,
Sure. Yeah.
Mickey Mouse watch.
I hate swimming. I do
you
not
hate
like swimming.
swimming.
I find it very boring and far
Yeah.
too hard.
For me, it's hell. I mean,
It's
swimming
yeah.
pools are hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always either too cold, too hot, too.
It's always too long. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Stinky.
What about the Mickey Mouse watch?
Yeah,
There is a story behind it.
that's a real thing. I mean, that was something I got as a child, given to me by my dad to, and the joke was to remind me not to take myself too seriously, that life is light. And when things are stressful, just remember, slow down, be a kid.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I gave that to Langdon. And actually I have, the Mickey Mouse watch I had as a kid is gone. I don't know where it's gone, but the watch that Hanks wore in the movie, I have at my house.
The same?
Oh yeah, the same one. Yeah.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. And going back to the structure of the book, you're the king of the cliffhangers. Sometimes I'm in my bed, tired, close to fall asleep. I go to the final words of the chapter and I said, "Oh shit, I have to read another one."
Mission
Because now-
accomplished.
Yeah, now I want to know. Now I want to know what's next.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
How do you work on that? How do you work on that?
You know what? It's just part of the craft. I like suspense. I like to feel like you can't stop turning pages. And that is just something I do pretty naturally, but also very, very intentionally. And if I can't end a chapter in some way that's dramatic, I'll probably take the chapter out. I say this isn't promoting the plot enough, because really, if you've written a chapter that's efficient and chosen what parts of the story you're going to tell, the end of the chapter should be exciting. You should have a new piece of information, a new conflict, a new revelation, whatever it may be. And if there's no cliffhanger, chances are the chapter shouldn't be there.
And what's the writing routine? You work like every day. You write every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're on tour, you suspend that routine.
I'm
of
not
course.
writing right now just
Yeah.
because there's just no time.
Uh-huh.
But I write 7 days a week, and I write at 4 a.m. That's the time for me that works the best.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
You wake up or you?
I wake up.
Have to go sleep.
No, I sleep 6 hours, almost to the minute. I don't know why. I've tried to sleep longer. I go to bed around 10, so I wake up at 4. I lie there thinking, you need more sleep. And after 5 minutes, I'm like, I guess I'll
not working.
I guess I'll go talk to Langdon because nobody else is awake. Yeah, so that's when I write. And I think there's a reason for that. When you come out of your sleep, you're coming out of your second REM cycle.
Oh.
You're in the
You're
dream
stealing
state.
something.
You're in the dream state. Exactly. Your brain is creating something out of nothing, which is basically what you do when you're writing a novel, creating something out of nothing. And so I try to move from that state to my desk as fast as possible. I don't check my email or check the news. I try to sort of get there efficiently.
And is it true that I read somewhere that in the early days you used an hourglass and gravity boots?
I still do.
You
I still do. I don't use the gravity boots quite as much. I have an inversion table that I use, once a month maybe.
Are they any good? I mean,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what? They
Well, the first thing they do,
blood to your brains.
that's the first thing they do, is you aerate your brain. You send a lot of oxygen to your brain. It helps you think. It's very clarifying. But the other thing it does, two more things. It really helps your spine. I sit for hours and hours. It helps separate your spine and put fluid back into the discs. But most of all, it helps you see the world from a different perspective. In a very, I mean,
Literally.
it's literally you're looking at the same room, but it's upside down, and it forces your brain to try to process what it's seeing in a totally different way. And for me, maybe I'm crazy, but I find that it helps me solve problems. Just that notion of, okay, here's the same thing, and you're looking at it a totally different way. And that's something Langdon often says, like, look, a change of perspective can reveal an entirely new truth just by changing the direction that you're looking at something.
What made you choose Prague as a character?
Thank you for noticing it's a character. I love using location as a character. I do it in all of these books. Prague is a perfect character for Langdon for many reasons. First, it's got castles and underground tunnels and a door with seven locks, magical city. But it's also historically the mystical capital of Europe. Emperor Rudolf II brought all the mystics and Kabbalists and scryers and seers, brought them all to Prague to help him speak to the great beyond, the cosmic consciousness. And since then, it's always had this reputation as a mystical city. And so for me, when I decided to write about consciousness, it had to be Prague. And it's a beautiful city.
Have you spent much time there?
I have, yeah. I spent a long time there, yeah.
Yeah, I think Salgari, who wrote Sandokan, who's never been to Malaysia.
Never been to Malaysia. Never,
he made up the
his head.
He made up the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That book is a Praga guide. You can travel all Praga.
Yeah, you have a lot of information.
It is.
You have a lot of information.
Yeah, well, actually, I just hear there are a lot of tours now. You can take the Secret of Secrets too.
Yeah. You can, the sightseeing of,
So, that's fun.
The places, yes.
I got a nice thank you note from the Prague Tourism Board.
Yeah. I'm a publisher myself. I have a publishing company. Which kind of business did I put myself into? What's the health of publishing companies right now?
It's a fantastic question. I'm of the belief that storytelling is the oldest art form on earth. It is not going away. I also am talking to a lot of young people who are coming back to reading. And when I asked why, I get this fascinating response. The novel or the book is the only place left where you can read text that is not hyperlinked. You can't click on anything. You don't have things jumping out saying, click on me, look here. And what happens is you can trust the author. The author's going to tell you what you need to know. You don't have to decide, do I need to know more about Charles Bridge? Am I supposed to click? What am I supposed to do? And it's this really wonderful, kind of relaxing meditation to just put yourself in the hands of an author and just say, I trust you. I trust you that you're going to tell me exactly what I need to know. And it is astonishing how many young people are reading this book around the world.
Yeah.
The statistics, it has given me great hope. So I'm answering your question by saying, if you'd asked me 2 months ago about the health of publishing, I would have found some polite way to say, don't quit your day job. But I don't know. I feel like reading is coming back really strongly among young people.
You have kids?
I do not. I have 8 books.
That's right.
They cause me a lot of problems, just like kids.
You can stick to them. Yes. You're doing very, very good all around the world, in Italy, of course, as well. I think you're number 1 in the charts right now. In the charts. Yes. Ken Follett is number 2, and it's going to be here next week.
I love Ken. He's great. Yeah. We've toured together. He's a friend, super nice guy, and what a talent. His Pillars of the Earth, and his books about cathedrals.
Any tips for the conversation with him? we never met him.
Oh, he's very, very nice. He's funny. He's nice. He's a normal guy. He's much better dressed than I am. He is a dapper British
super
gentleman.
Stylish guy.
He will come in a 3-piece suit. He speaks slowly with a lot of intention.
Okay.
He will be very intimidating, but he won't mean to be.
That's what I'm afraid of.
He's just really smart. He can't help it. That's right.
But at the beginning of this interview, you say that your job is to entertain.
True.
But what do you read? What books do you read? The entertaining one or also?
Nonfiction. That's it.
Nonfiction.
I don't read novels. I read only nonfiction, which I find entertaining, usually. I read them for research.
Yeah, are they useful to your job?
I could not do my job without books. I mean, I read all the time. And, you can't come up with some of the crazy experiments in this book that are real. You can't invent them. They have to be real. And some of them are so amazing that I couldn't think of them. If somebody just said, think of the craziest thing. Truth is often stranger than fiction. And you see these experiments in precognition where the brain is seeing an image before it has appeared, and they're saying, well, it implies that time moves in two directions. And you're just saying, I think I need a drink. That's right.
Is there already something in your head about the next book?
Yes, there is.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah. No. We don't want to give away any spoiler. But I mean,
but you're talking about my next book. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to just give you a scene.
Okay.
Your wife has just given birth. You're in the hospital. She's in the delivery.
What about the next one?
She's holding her baby, and you look down and say, "Sweetie, we should do this again." Okay.
It's not the right moment to talk about it.
It's not the right moment. It's too early.
Yeah. But you wait for a new idea, or you work on a new idea? I mean, does it come up naturally, or you
big
have
questions?
Or you say, okay, now I have to find something.
The big question.
They seems to be finished.
Life after death.
They seems to be finished.
I'm done. No, you know what? I mean, it's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that question, and I think it depends on the topic. Some of these topics have materialized. Some of them I've gone and I've looked for. I don't think you can sit around and wait for inspiration, especially when you've written about consciousness, because I'm not sure there's anything bigger. So you have to go look for your next idea, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I've done, and I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to write next. I'm not talking about it yet.
Yeah. In Gravity Boots, you wait and we'll see.
It's very hard to type upside down, but
Okay, then thank you very much. It's been a great honor to have you here. Good luck for the next of the tour. Where are you going next?
We're going to Madrid tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
You use the tour to maybe look around the city and see if can be the perfect set for the next book. Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
I mean, people in Milan have said, you should come to Milan. I mean, I've written about the Last Supper.
Yeah.
But Langdon's never been here. Mm-hmm. So, I'm open to ideas. I mean, I know you guys have a lot of fans. Maybe they'll send you some idea for me to come back to Milan, because even if I don't write a book, it'd be great to talk to you guys again.
Have you been to the Last Supper, right?
Of course. We went just the other night for a private viewing. And it was magical. It's an incredible
I've been
thing.
there 20 years after I came to Milan. I spent 20 years without going there, and it should be one of the first places.
It should, but that's the way it is when you live
Never
somewhere.
been there.
Never?
Okay, you need to fix that tomorrow.
But this is not the best neighbor in Milan.
Gentrification.
Storie.
Maybe in the future,
All right.
investment.
In the future.
All right, the gentrification code. That's my next book. There we go. That's right.
Dan, thank you very much.
What a pleasure.
Good luck on everything.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ragazzi, grazie mille per aver visto alla fine anche questa puntata. Vi ricordo che se vi siete persi alcune delle puntate precedenti, o magari avete ascoltato delle domande che vi hanno fatto rimanere un po' basiti, avete detto Madonna, ma che domanda davvero King, non avete tutti i torti, e infatti grazie alla collaborazione dei ragazzi di King Sigillette ho raccolto le migliori domande e ve le ho caricate, le trovate sul mio profilo TikTok. Alla prossima!